Kellyscards.ca, and I have a make a card video today. I still have some of this paper from Cardabella from last year, and I actually bought a couple of these packs because I really liked a lot of these papers. So I've picked an image and I've used some of this paper plus some of the other paper that I found that would work, and I'm going to put a card together. So I've got my black card base and I'm going to use this paper. It's got hugs and kisses all over it, really cute, and that's going to be my main back. I tried to pull some black strips out, but I found that they didn't really work because this is quite a busy background. So I had a little bit of this paper and it's got this embossed stripes on it. So I really liked how that blocked a lot of this busyness, but you could still see the colors. And I've also picked out some red ribbon, some bling, and this is the image I'm going to be using, and I've already cut the mats and the little foam mat. So I'm going to sew this black piece here right to this piece here, and I'm going to use some red thread because I think that it would look really stunning on the black. So I will do that and I will be right back. So I've just come back and I've sewn this. I'm just going to make sure there's no black edges. There's a little bit of this paper, just you can see from the back here, so I'm just going to trim that away. And as far as the threads, I usually just adhere them underneath. So now I've got that, I would like to add a ribbon, and I'm just going to look at the pieces all together here. And I think I like the red over here. So the way I always attach my ribbon is I always use tape. So watching Amy R a few years ago, she mentioned that if you use tape, it was really secure on your card and it was just easier for your ATG to glide over. Now I don't use the ATG, but I really like the fact that the tape really secures this on. This is not going to come off now. So once we've got that on, I'm going to bring in my score tape and I'm just going to adhere this piece onto the card base like so. And this is where I will tuck all of my little sewing edges in. And then I don't have to worry about anything coming undone. Sometimes if you cut your threads, you start to see everything kind of coming undone. And by taping it down this way, you don't have to worry about that. So I'm just going to take all the adhesive off now. So I'm just going to bring in my card base now, and I'm going to bring this piece over and I'm going to line this up. And I really like how much black is in this card. It really looks good. It helps all the red pop off this card. And there we go. We've got that right on there. So I'll bring in my image now, and I'm just going to use some tape runner here and adhere this right to this scalloped mat. And again, these are all Spellbinders dies. I've used Spellbinders dies for quite a while now, and I really like them. I like that they layer perfectly. And once that's on, I can bring in this little piece of foam. And again, instead of using pop dots, I've mentioned this in other videos, pop dots really don't cover the entire space at the back, so then you could have your image bent. So I've started cutting these pieces of foam, and yes, you do have to adhere it obviously to both sides, but I find that you get better coverage. It's just a lot easier to send this in the mail because you won't have to worry about anything getting bent because now this is a solid surface. So now I'll just double check that I can't see any of this foam, and I can just see this little edge, so I'm just going to snip there. And now that is perfect. So when this goes on here, it's going to be a little bit raised. And now I'm just going to adhere this piece down, and I'm going to use my tape runner. This is actually really good adhesive, this AdTech adhesive. It's sold, Michael's, Walmart sells it, a lot of places sell it. It's not too expensive, like refills are literally $2 to $2.50 for these, and I really like this adhesive. So I'm going to bring this guy over here, and I'm not going to put a sentiment on this card because really this whole image is like the sentiment, and I'm just going to give this a push on. So I'm just going to add the bling on this corner. I think it would look better on this side than the other side just because the ribbon is there, and I'll just make sure it's nice and straight. So now that that's all on there, I am going to do an inside. So I've already pre-cut my inside, so this will be 4 by 5 1/4, and this will go inside the card. And the stamp I'm using just is little X's and O's. It's from this little set that was sold probably a year ago, if not more, out from Recollection, so Michael's. And just like how simple the little XOXO is. So I'm just gonna center that up and close the door of my MISTI and pull that up, and then I can actually, from here, I can just make sure it is nice and straight on that grid line, which I think it just needs a little bit of a fix here. And now we are good to go. So I'm going to use this Memento Love Letter ink, and I will now just get this all nice and red on here. And once I close the door of my mini MISTI, I'll be able to get a nice impression, and if I don't, then I can always restamp. That's pretty good. I think I'm going to do another one though. I find people who use the MISTI a lot do a lot of double stamping, and in some ways obviously it takes twice as long, but it's just your impression and how it looks is so much better. And you can't really do that with regular stamp blocks with such precision. So now we've got that, and I'm going to just take this off now that I've got that ready to go. And this piece is going to go on the inside of this card. So I'm just going to pull some of the adhesive off and add this to the inside of the card. I'll tuck this little piece of adhesive there in the corner. So at least it's decorating something on the inside, but again, this is quite open-ended. We can use this for a variety of reasons. And the last thing I'm going to do is I just grabbed some red stickles, and this is the Xmas red color, and I'm just going to add some stickles to this heart up here to add a little bit of sparkle to the card. And I like to do this especially if it's a solid image and there's not a variety of colors through it. It adds a lot to the card, and I think it looks really nice. So of course we're gonna have to wait for this one to dry. Very, very simple, quick card, but look how cute this is. I love the layers, I love the colors, and again, I'm gonna let this dry. Thank you so much for joining me for this video. Again, a real fun card, and you could use this for Valentine's Day or for many other things. And it's just nice to have a simple sentiment where you're not specifically saying what the card is for, and then you can always write something on the inside or for the reasons why you want to give the card. So thank you so much for joining me for this card. You can check me out on my website and blog at Kellyscards.ca, and I hope you have a wonderful day.